Well, Lee, what is your brief as caretaker manager from the CEO, from the board?
Well, I got asked late Saturday evening, just to basically take over first team affairs until a suitable candidate comes in. You know, it's never nice when a manager and the staff lose their jobs, and obviously it's not great circumstances when the team's lost whatever it's 5 or 6 games on the bounce. Obviously my thoughts are with Harry Redknapp and Kevin and obviously picking the lads up and getting them back on track as quick as I can, along with the rest of the staff.
You've come in as a caretaker before at Brentford. What sort of kind of challenges does it present?
What kind of challenges? It's generally a caretaker manager comes in when things aren't going great. So it's never ideal. Like I say, if you could prepare, if you'd have given me 6 months' notice that I was going to be caretaker manager, you're generally better prepared for it. The fact that I've done it before helps, but I was very much focused on the under-23s and the England games that I've got coming up as well. So getting my thoughts together Saturday night, I didn't have a great sleep, and then thinking about it Sunday on getting a clear plan and getting some clearer objectives for the players. That I always find that if in these kind of situations, if you can make it as basic as you can, clear instructions, then you potentially get back on track quicker, which was the case at Brentford.
I know you've watched the first team when you can. What have you made or make of this group of players that's together now?
Well, I like individually. I think the players that have been brought in, as well as the players that were here. There's a lot of quality. Sitting them all down this morning and doing the first meeting, you look around the room. It's a top end championship squad. Mm-hmm. But there's I've emphasised it this morning that it's difficult because 14 players have just come in. So to expect them to play like a team and to expect the chemistry to be right from day one is something that we're going to have to try and fast forward and manipulate as quick as we can. So, like I say, it's I've been impressed with the individuals, but obviously the team has struggled. There's no getting away from that. So getting a bit of resilience back into the team, will be the priority.
I was going to ask you, that leads me on. I mean, how will you want the team to play, considering you have changed the style of the 23s, but in this scenario, is it a case of being pragmatic? Yeah,
I mean, ideally, I've got a clear way on how I want to build, how I want to play through, how I want to attack, how the defensive strategies, how I want to press. But I've got to be mindful, and I've spoke to players this morning about. I've been mindful that I'm not just going to spew as much information as I can at them and hope that they catch 2 or 3 things. It's more important for me that it's as clear and as simple as can be. I've watched a lot of Blues games in the past, and I won't say I've been sat there and been massively entertained with the style of play and all the rest of it. So I've got to find a blend between getting the results, which is obviously what we need, and it looking good, because I've got a lot of family that are Blues fans, and I know a lot of Blues fans, and they want to see good football. They want to see them controlling the game and creating chances, and ultimately that's what I want to do.
You captained the club.
Yeah.
What would it be like as a local lad, as well as you mentioned, to actually be in that dugout managing Birmingham City?
It'd be a bit weird, to be honest. I've been coming to the Blues since I was like 4 or 5. All my family are Blues fans, and now for the next few games at least, I'm going to be picking the team. So there's a obviously I'll be proud of the fact, but ideally I would have liked it in better circumstances, because at the end of the day, someone's lost their job. So I wasn't celebrating in the house on Saturday night. It was more, my thoughts were with the management, the people that have lost their jobs, the fact that the lads collapsed pretty much in the second half. What was the problem? But like I say, getting back to the question, I'll be really proud to, that You know, when would the last time that a manager born 20 minutes from the ground was managing the club? I'm not sure when that was, but you know, I understand what the fans expect. The team should reflect the environment. The environment is hard working. That people that stick together, you know, tight families, and it's important that, like I say, the team should reflect the environment. You know, and the best example I can give of that was when I was at Everton. You know, the team reflected the club, and I think we've probably gone away from that a little bit.
You've brought Paul Williams in to assist with the coaching.
Yeah.
What sort of things will he bring to the table?
Well, Paul's got a lot of experience as a coach. His last job was assistant manager in the Premier League at Swansea. I've known him since I was 15, 16. In terms of you know, football philosophy and beliefs, we're on the same page, and I thought that was important. That you know, we've got Paul Robinson with us as well, and Paul Groves has stayed. You know, but I don't really know them two particularly well. So it was important that I had someone else in there that sees the game in exactly the way that I do, and that was the thinking behind that. I trust him. He's a good guy, but more importantly, he knows his stuff. You know, if you look at his CV, he's managed at international level with England under-19s. He's managed in the Championship last season or season before with Forest, and obviously his last role was Swansea's assistant manager. So he's got a really good CV.
Mm-hmm. And Paul Robinson, you mentioned, he's stepping up to sort of help.
Yeah.
Again, what qualities will sort of Robbo help?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see myself a lot in Robbo in terms of when I was here last time. I think I was 36, 37. You know, I realised that I was coming towards the end of my career, and I keep having to say to Robbo, and I'm not saying you are, by the way, because he's still a player, but for however long it is, 2-3 weeks or whatever it is, Robbo wouldn't have played for us. The team at the minute, and he might kill me for saying it, has moved on. You know, there's younger players, you know, and it does hit us all, but I'm not the one to tell Robbo that he's finished career-wise. So he's got to find the balance now between his coaching and making sure that when a new manager does come in, that he's still at that fitness level where he can have a go.
Mm-hmm. There is talent there, we know that. There's some very good players in the squad, but the team has lost 6 on the spin.
Yeah.
What are you expecting? What are you demanding from the players in this period?
Well, we spoke about it this morning. We spoke about energy. We spoke about togetherness, because I think there's a bit of a it's going to be like that anyway, because you've got 14 new personalities that have come into the training ground. Energy, togetherness, and we need to win games. It's as simple as that. I mean, the reaction this morning was what I expected. It was a high tempo. And they need to take that into. I said that whatever product we're producing on the training ground, it has to be able to transfer it over to St Andrews and make sure that, you know, when there's a bit of pressure on us, we don't go into our shells, which is, you know, what they've been guilty of in the past.
There's been lots of speculation, inevitably, about who the next permanent manager might be. Is it something that appeals to you?
I signed. I left Man City in the summer, and I signed a 2-year contract here, and the contract was based around me getting to know as much about the club as I could from the under-23s downwards, and I'm really loving that, because I'm not, you know, I spoke to my brother about it the other day. I'm not, you know, if I go for a short-term fix, I'm always going to live in Birmingham. I'm always going to be around Birmingham City. I don't want a short fix. I want to make sure that I'm potentially working here for the next 5, 6, 10 years, whatever it's going to be. So I'm not in a rush to be a manager. And a club of this size, with the expectation, it deserves someone that's got a proven track record. I mean, I said it about Brentford as well. At some point, I'm going to be ready to manage, but I wouldn't say that point is at the minute. But it's important for me that whoever we bring in is someone that not only I can learn from, but the players can learn from. You know, you get a lot of names that are mentioned that I'm thinking, you know, why would you even bother? You know, we need someone with a proven track record, with a real hunger and a desire to not only develop the team but develop a club. Because, and I spoke to the lads about it this morning, I've seen this club when it's in the Premier League. I've seen it when it's winning cup. Obviously, we got relegated the year that we won the cup, but you know, potentially this City can be absolutely bouncing. And I think the way that Villa are at the minute, you know, the city's there for the taking. We can totally put our stamp. Birmingham City can be, you know, the whole of Birmingham again. And it needs someone to take the ball by the horns.